Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about A Night at the Kindergarten. A Night at the Kindergarten is a Polish black comedy drama that tells the story of Eric, a man who has a tenuous relationship with his girlfriend, and even more so with her son Titus. To drum up some goodwill with her, Eric goes to participate in a school meeting between staff and parents and potentially serve as a stepfather figure to Titus. However, things take a turn when Eric finds out that Titus faces being expelled from his kindergarten class due to his problematic behavior. Because of this, Eric decides to crash a rehearsal between the adults for a nativity scene play and try to prevent the expulsion, during which Eric learns more about his capabilities as a parent. As strange as this movie's presentation can be at times, I found myself liking it a lot. It has a lot of things to say about the dark side of parenthood and flaws that parents have but avoid acknowledging, while doing so in a way that is entertaining thanks to its style of black comedy. I found Eric to be a likable character for this movie. He has a humorous and relaxed personality that makes it easy to become attached to him, especially once more details about his personal life and perception of parenthood are revealed over time. Even though he is a mostly positive person, he has difficulty navigating fatherhood and other relationships associated with it. He's unsure of his ability to be a good father to Titus due to his lack of experience, and it was rewarding to see him come to realize his true strengths as he interacts with everyone else at the school. Speaking of this, it's the number of other characters in the school that help breathe life into the movie's story. What's great about them is how unique they all are from each other, and yet how they all have one common thread uniting them, in the form of their individual struggles with parenthood. From the wayward musician Tadeusz to the conservative Christian Kazimierz, the parents all come in a variety of flavors, so to speak, and add much to the movie's comedic dialogue, while also contributing to the drama where it's appropriate. I'm not usually a fan of movies having large number of characters as they can feel unfocused, but in this movie's case it works well. While I think a lot of that is because the movie largely takes place in one setting, so nobody ever feels like they stray from the story, I also believe it's because of how relatable the characters are. Despite their quirks, they all have authentic backstories and undergo serious hardships that many adults have to face in real life. I won't reveal any spoilers, but I was impressed with how much emotional depth the movie was able to juggle for the adults at the school. Some of them are developed better than others, but on the whole, the movie succeeded in making me care about each character for what they were going through. And this is exemplified perfectly by the character Justina, who serves as a teacher at the school and head of the committee running the play, and she is fantastic. She's so sly and cunning in how she schemes to sabotage Eric as he too tries to sabotage the play, and it's a blast to see the mental jousting they engage in. But more importantly, I was blown away with how well the movie handled her character arc. Without giving anything away, she goes through her own issues with raising children, but on a much more personal level than just her kid being difficult. This added many layers to her character and made her much more than just a typical villain. The movie does a great job at exploring the difficulties of raising a child while balancing comedy and drama as needed. Many challenges such as single parenthood, toxic relationships, and bratty kids are examined, and they're all appropriate for the type of story the movie is trying to convey. The characters almost seem to be running away, not just from their responsibilities as parents, but also their own faults. They enjoy the idea of being parents, but are also afraid of failing as parents, so they don't give it their best effort. At least that was how I understood it. And it was great how the movie used Eric as a beacon of sorts to help steer the characters on the right path and confront their demons. The movie's dark cinematic aesthetics help reflect the equally dark side of parenthood that's portrayed, which is funny because even though it feels like it should be a Christmas movie, it's far from being merry. The ambient lighting and soundtrack creates this mysterious, almost psychological mood that provides a window into each character's psyche, and it makes the story a lot more moody and intriguing. This being said, I felt that the movie tended to be a bit too dark at times. It occasionally almost felt like a horror movie with how the soundtrack would suddenly become creepy, or how the movie would frame certain scenes from a more sinister point of view. I like the dark tone to a point, but sometimes it tended to result in a tonal clash with the more comedic vibe that it was supposed to be going for. For the most part though, the comedy does win out over the more dramatic parts of the movie, most of which centers around the nativity scene, which turns into a huge comedy of errors. As I hinted at earlier, Justina tries to enforce her protocols as the head of the committee, while Eric insists on adding new creative decisions on the fly, and this results in the two hilariously butting heads with each other. What makes the movie so funny in this regard is how split everyone else is around them when it comes to how the play should proceed. People bicker about whether or not to include Joseph in the scene, or to have a rap song number in the middle of it, or the way in which snow should be scattered during it. There's always something ridiculous happening related to the play, so there's never a dull moment happening on screen. Now, while the prep surrounding the play is fun to watch, I also found the events building up to it to be rather slow-paced. For a big play that's happening the next day and is supposed to determine Eric's stepson's future at the kindergarten, there's not much of a sense of urgency to the story, as many characters characters have a tendency to just sit around and talk instead of rehearsing. And I personally found the whole angle surrounding Titus to be just a little lacking in execution. Every character talks a big game about how their child was affected by Titus's behavior in one way or another, and it's a bit strange for me to see him portrayed with such little nuance apart from being a pure tyrant when little else is known about their kids. As someone who works in education, I see kids all the time with varying behaviors and family backgrounds. It can be easy to label kids as being bad or difficult, and to this movie's credit, the filmmakers do flesh Titus out a bit more later on, along with the moral ambiguity regarding his expulsion. I was just put off a little bit with how bad he was made out to be, especially after how Eric's own upbringing is revealed. In the end though, there's no doubt that being a parent is a really tough job, and this movie succeeds in communicating both the struggles and the rewards associated with it while doing so through a darkly comic lens. Overall, A Night at the Kindergarten is a surprisingly entertaining black comedy that portrays the dark side of parenthood in unflinching fashion. If you like black comedies and can tolerate some tonal shifts here and there, you'd enjoy checking this out. I disagreed with some of its narrative choices, but I still enjoyed its characters, themes, and execution of its comedy. I honestly didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, though I have to admit that based on what happens in this movie, one night would be more than enough for me. What did you think about this movie? Were you also entertained by its style of humor, or did you find it too dark for your tastes? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of A Night at the Kindergarten. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part, where next time I review the French romantic comedy Stuck With You. Bye bye!